Muslim community in Edo State has berated the Governor Monday Okpebholo for approving the returns of 8 schools to missionary organizations. It may be recalled that Okpebholo had on Monday, June 16, 2025, approved the returns of 8 schools, all in Edo North Senatorial District, to missionary organizations during a meeting with the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Auchi, Gabriel G. Duyan, at Government House, Benin City. Okpebholo at the meeting said the committee would be established to identify the specific schools that would be handed over to the missionaries. Reacting to the developments, the Muslim community described the governor's actions as undemocratic, saying it was not in the best interest of people of the state, particularly the Muslims and Christians that are not of Catholic denomination. They opined that Muslims and members of Pentecostal churches that form the bulk of major stakeholders in the education sector in the senatorial districts were not put into consideration by the government in its decision-making. The Muslims urged the governor to tread with caution and engage in broad-based consultations involving all religious and community stakeholders before making such far-reaching decisions instead of being dictatorial. Please, let's get your thoughts. We actually had almost similar story, but on a different base, because this is almost a different situation. But the call for a missionary school and the Muslims saying that we're not going to be religious. But I just want to get your thoughts on the call for a missionary school. I think, yes, on Monday, the governor actually made this call where he's calling back missionary schools in the state. What is your thoughts on that before we refer to the Muslim community reaction?
The man crying, what would have been his reaction if the governor handed over these schools to the Muslim community? Would he also say that it's undemocratic? You see, people will always cry wolf when justice is not to their favor. It becomes injustice. When things doesn't favor you, it becomes partial. It becomes biasness. You know, this is the nature of man, the nature of humans. So why is he crying for? Why is he advocating for Pentecostals, whom he has observed to be in the majority? The Pentecostals have not even come to condemn it, but him, a Muslim person, has come out to begin to shout here and there. It's undemocratic, it's partiality, it is this and that. Begin to say these things. The governor has a right. He acted in the ambit of his right to do that, and he thinks it is for the best interest of the state to hand over those schools to the missionaries. You know, there are pros and cons actually, and when things are weighed in a balance, I think we should follow where the weight goes on. The governor has thought it wise to hand over these schools to the rightful owner. It's a handover. It's not, it didn't say, when you watch the language, handover, it means that they were the original owners. It's not that they are giving them. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. The statement said hand over or return. I think it said return. Yeah, that is what they mentioned. They said returning.
I wanted to ask a question quickly. Most missionary schools, I just want to get a clear view on that. Is it a denominated school? Is it that it's a particular religion that should attend those missionary schools?
No. It's not discriminatory.
So that means Muslims can also attend.
They can attend it. They can attend. But most times you find that, like, I had a course on the history of education in Nigeria. And I discovered that in the north, they found it why we have, you know, lesser educated, number of educated people in the north in the early days, like in the 40s, 50s, was because of this religious inclination. Found out that in the north, they resisted these missionary schools. The CMS and the EQUA and all the, I've forgotten most of them, and the, what do you call them, the Catholics, actually came with missionary schools or schools sponsored by them. Now these Muslims refused to attend and they refused their children from attending those schools because they believe that it has an ulterior motive.
Okay, quickly, Barrister Corey, I want to ask, what is your view about religion in Nigeria?
If you ask me that question, it's going to take us the next 2, 3, 4, 5 hours.
Let's just get a summary of your view on that, please.
Well, Nigerians are too religious. Let me put it succinctly like that. Nigerians are too religious. And Nigerians are hypocritically religious. They are two different things. They are too religious. That is, you are too attached to religion. And they are hypocritically religious. Meaning they do not even abide by the tenets of their religion. The Christians, many, 90-point-something% have differed from the teachings of the Bible. The Muslims, the worst. Their own hypocrisy is even the worst. Stand to be corrected.
Oh, well, we're not going to condemn any of them,
So,
actually, but
yes.
I just wanted
so
to
that
get
is my
your thoughts
thought,
on that.
that Nigerians are too religious and too hypocritically religious. The gods, both religions mention, they don't fear that God. And they don't even believe in that God.
So how come at this point we have that division when it comes to religion? In as much as we have freedom of religion, you're okay. Whether you're from the East, it's okay for you to want to practice a different kind of religion, which is the or generally accepted religion as Christianity. You can decide not to be a Christian, even though you're from the East. We know that. So why do we have that division in religion, considering if we come back to the story of having a particular religion saying no, that the governor of Edo State shouldn't have, you know, just called back or given back the missionary schools to its rightful owner? Why do we still have that division, even as you mentioned of the religious inclination that you studied of and all of that? Why do we still have that in Nigeria, please?
If I get your question very well, why do we still have, is it that, is it the...
Why is there still division in religion?
Yeah,
when everybody is right, you have the right to practice any religion of your choice. Why is there still division amongst us? That's the question, please.
Yeah, because the religions are divided too. It's not a unified.
But you have the right to be whatever, practice whatever you want to. You have the right to be wherever you want to.
Every religion believes that their own is the best, and it's because of this ignorance too, that this ignorance of the law and moral law too, you know, that people scramble to convert one another by force instead of leaving the freedom and liberty of everyone to choose which to belong to. In the North, the religion that is handed over to them from traditional religion was this Muslim religion, which came from the Arab world. In the south, naturally, after the traditional religion, the one that was handed over to them was from the west, which is Christian religion or Christianity. Because some people argue that Christianity is not religion.
Yes, I know. I'm saying it's okay for us to practice, but why do we still find that division? What is that thing that still makes us do?
Is it division or the fight? Or I want to get it.
Yes, because if we have to look at this particular Edo State story, where the Muslim community are saying that the governor shouldn't have returned back the missionary schools when he did not consider the Muslim and the Pentecostal, saying that the missionary schools are Catholic schools, which we know the doctrine of the Catholic. It's also under the Christianity religion. You know, but here we have another religion reacting to that decision. Isn't it supposed to be an acceptable situation? Why do we still find ourselves under that situation where there is still division amongst us?
That it is natural to humans. I think I mentioned it in my preamble statement here, that I asked the question, should it be that the governor did otherwise by handing over those handing over those schools to the Muslim community? Would they have cried this way they are crying? Would they have said, no, this is too much for us, give it to the Christians, or leave it the way it is? And I am thinking that the answer would have been no. Human life is like that. People always think selfishly, you know. People, when justice is to your favor, oh, this is justice for all. But when it's against you, you say these people are partial, they are biased. So this is human nature. When something is against you, you will not believe that the person who passed the judgment was right. You must see it that he is partial, he is political, he is sectional, he is tribalistic. But when it comes to your favor, it is democratic. The person is a good person. The person has a balanced thinking. So it is natural, it's inherent in man to always be selfish. Everything should be to your favor. It should. If Nigeria is one state religion, there may not be much fracas. For example, if you go to places like in Sokoto, those are northwest, where you have Muslims dominating, you will not see much of these fracas and killings in those days. But it is where you have 50-50, like in Kano, you have a lot of Christians and Muslims. You go to Kaduna, where it's even Christian dominated. The few Muslims there try to, conquer, and you go to the northeast, where it is 50-50. Places like Plateau, Bauchi. These are the places you always see people fighting these religious wars, because the other people wants to conquer and dominate. But the places where you have more, for example, you hardly see, even in the east or south here, you hardly see these religious wars, because predominantly it is Christianity. So the few Muslims, you just allow them to, there's nothing you believe they can do. But in those places, they want to dominate, they want to conquer, get more people for themselves. That is why you see all these divisions. Okay,
Stoker, we got your thoughts. But quickly, I want to find out, this decision by the state's governor to, call back the missionary schools. Yes. Yeah, return back the missionary schools. Why do you see it as a good call? Because
number one, it will make for quick decision making. When the missionaries, when you return this, it's like returning to the private individuals. There is the bureaucratic bottlenecks will be removed. The process of taking decisions will be quicker. It will also enhance broad, in this sense, broader, wider funding, they will have naturally what they can get from the government, assistance they can get from the government, but the denomination that owns the school now will begin to fix things without waiting for the government. You know, it will make for improvement infrastructurally and otherwise. And sometimes where there is inadequacies, like sometimes you see shortages of teachers, I think the churches can hire teachers that will be on their own payroll this time around, because it is handed over to them. So they want the best. So these are one of the merits that is accruable from such decisions.
Okay.